I thought I'd talk about something today that we don't hear so much about in our community, but something I've seen a lot, because it's hard to imagine that women actually have these traits, but unfortunately sometimes they do. It's the high charm, low empathy type for women, and it's the kind of connection that comes in really fast. The chemistry can be super intense and intoxicating. The intention can feel amazing. The words feel perfect. The emotion pull feels almost hard to resist. And before you know it, your nervous system is really attached to someone that your deeper self doesn't even know yet. I want to bring in the term Dark Triad. I found this language is really useful. It also helps us stay away from labeling everyone a narcissist, because that's a very specific kind of personality disorder. And this is really talking about traits. Now, they're dark traits, they're not good traits, but they're still nonetheless traits. What it really means is there are traits of narcissism, there's traits of something called Machiavellianism, and there's traits of sociopathy. And in plain language, that means, narcissism is everything is about me. Machiavellianism is I will manipulate you to get what I want. And sociopathy is I don't really care if I end up hurting you. So most people don't have dark traits, but they really do stand out because they cause a lot of damage. Most of us really are just complicated and wounded and learning and growing and messing up and limited and all of these things. But we don't have this. But those that do, they can find us. They are out there in the dating world. It's really important that we learn how to recognize them sooner rather than later, because once you attach, once you get in, it's much harder to get out than it is to get in. They present really confident. They can have off the charts kind of chemistry, very intoxicating intensity, as I said. They know exactly what to say. They're very good at studying you, and then they can mirror back what they learn, the versions of you that they learn. They seem to be fascinated by you. They may text you constantly. It starts to feel like she's someone you've been looking for your whole life. You've never felt seen like this before. She wants to know everything about you, your trauma, your childhood, your dreams, your ex, all the things, and you find yourself talking late into the night. It's like, oh my gosh, I haven't felt this way before. This is amazing. But this isn't necessarily intimacy. This could be data collecting. And that's when she's learning how to understand your attachment system, learning what you yearn for, what you fear, what you're scared of, what makes you attach faster. I'm not saying this is totally conscious either. This is just something that runs them. So in this, we want to learn how to understand what's going on in our bodies faster so that we can start seeing it more. Because if you are conscientious and you're open to experiences and you're emotionally curious and you're very trusting and you believe people are who they say they are and you're willing to give someone the benefit of the doubt, you can be a perfect match for what they're looking for. And those are essential, beautiful qualities for healthy relationships, but they're very vulnerable qualities to have for someone with these traits. And they definitely look for those that can be prone to some anxious attachment in the early dating stage when we're a little more nervous and we want to know if they're into us or not. So it's not because you're naive. It's because hope is very powerful, and they really can instill this kind of hope in us. This hope that we found the one, we found someone that really gets us, that really loves us, that adores us. It's so nice to feel adored, right? And so you start loving her more. You want to understand her better. You want to know who she really is. And you start really earnestly learning about who she is. And then you start noticing subtle shifts as you start being more attached, maybe more committed, kind of hooked in. And then you find yourself tippy-toeing because you've made her mad. And then there's no repair. It's sort of glossed over, and there's not sort of this healthy way of relating about who needs what. So what ends up happening is you're really kind of hooked in by the fantasy of what it could be or what it felt like in the beginning. This is why love bombing can be so powerful and dangerous. Love bombing is not affection, because affection is beautiful, enthusiasm is beautiful, attention is beautiful. Love bombing is so dangerous because it creates that premature attachment I talk about so often. It creates this feeling of emotional debt. What do I owe them for being so into me? It bypasses the natural learning how to trust somebody. It just jumps right over that, and we just sort of, trust them. And it bypasses learning how they handle frustration and boredom and accountability. How are they with accountability? How are they with limits, with your limits? How are they with conflict and repair? How are they with your total self? Do they accept your total self, shadow and all? How are they with really, really accepting you once the honeymoon is over? How does she handle when she doesn't get what she wants? How does she handle when you need to be deeply seen and you don't feel like just performing in the beginning phases of I'm going to show my best self? Is there a desire to learn how to repair with you? Is she able to self-reflect? Can she apologize without making herself a victim? Does she care about whether she's causing you pain? Can she stay connected without trying to control the narrative? Can she take a pause when she's triggered and come back and reflect later with you and talk about it? Is she okay with boundaries without punishing you? These are the things that we're looking for in someone that we're meeting, someone we're looking to spend our lives with. I just read a white paper done by Bumble, and Arthur Brooks also wrote about it. It's about this attachment and dating on apps and the Dark Triad, and how it affects our nervous system and how it's so deeply connected to our attachment styles, and how discernment is so essential in this kind of situation. And that, yes, of course, the Dark Triad people are on these dating apps. We need to be careful, but it doesn't mean that we stop using dating apps. It's here for now anyway. If you yourself, what I've always talked about is that it's so important that we do our own healing, right? So then we're attracting women that are healthier and that we know we can start to learn how to trust. So are you the type that's an overfunctioner, overgiver, overlove, over-attend to, over-attuned? That can be a vulnerability or a part that you want to heal, because they will definitely attach to that. And remembering that chemistry is not compatibility. And it doesn't mean that we're going to be loved well by somebody. And then if we're, lesbian and queer women, it can get more complicated because our dating pool can be smaller. Our communities do overlap, even in our bigger cities. Many women have dated each other, or we come out later in life. And we're definitely all carrying heteronormative conditioning. And this affects us so deeply. So we're trained to be nice. We learn to be nice, emotionally available, accommodating, flexible, understanding, endlessly compassionate. All of these things are wonderful traits. And this is not about throwing the baby out with the bathwater. This is important. You want to keep these. It's about developing sort of a bigger picture, right? You don't want to be stuck in that place because for years you had to suppress or hide or feel ashamed about your desire, who you are, or it took a while to figure out who you are. And so now the desire's here and you want to meet her and you're so excited about it. And then, a lot of us meet a Dark Triad along that journey, unfortunately. That's why I'm here. I'm here to talk about it so you can learn how to tell the difference. And know that if she's charming, it doesn't mean she's safe. If she's lovely, she can still be harmful. If she has this amazing coming out story, she can still lack empathy. She can speak the language of therapy and still be manipulative. She can have all the right words about trauma, about boundaries, about healing, about spirituality, about liberation, about emotional intelligence. She can sound emotional intelligence. Doesn't mean she feels it. It means that it's an integrated part of who she is. And that doesn't mean she can handle the love you're going to develop with her with care. We need to sort of take a deep breath about all of this and recognize that I don't want to scare you out of dating at all. It's an essential part of trying to meet someone. It's that we want to be more strategic. We want to be figuring out who can I trust and who can I not trust. I don't want to get stuck in any sort of cynicism and saying no one see, all dating sites are bad. That's a different kind of stuckness, right? And that puts this shield around our heart and it sort of puts a guard out there in the world, and then it makes it even harder. Another important thing that can be really helpful is to know what the light triad is, which is the opposite of the dark triad, right? These traits are also really, really interesting, and they include 3 parts. Humanism, which means seeing people as having inherent worth. Kantianism, which means people are not tools for our needs, they are whole beings with their own dignity. And faith in humanity, that people are inherently good. And that's, thankfully, most people. Someone like this is going to show up, she's going to respect your pace, she's going to respect your boundaries, she's not going to push the intensity even if she's also drawn to it herself. She's not going to make your nervous system work overtime. She's going to be interested in your life, she's going to be genuinely curious, but it's not to gather data, it's to know you. She's going to know how to repair, or she's going to learn how to repair. She's going to be close without rushing and working, or good at communication, or really trying to be good at communication. Even just seeing the trying is a very good sign, because healthy love is exciting. It does exist, and it does feel romantic and passionate. And I'm not here to make all of this boring. There is excitement in all of it. When you're really knowing that it's time for something healthy, you're going to be ready to do whatever it takes. I'm hoping to get to that place. And what I've found is essential is healing ourselves first in a large way. Like really, if we have patterns of picking people that are not good for us or don't genuinely care about us, or if you've been through an experience with the dark triad already, or you know someone who has and you're a little nervous to get out there, this is when you do the work. You find out your own patterns, you do the healing from your childhood in a very focused way, and then you can go back out there and you'll be attracting somebody different, and you'll be repelling and repelled by the people that have these very dangerous and scary traits. So one of the things I also like to talk about is how we can get into our bodies. If you are out there dating and you're a little nervous by it, or you have a date, coffee date or a phone date or a bigger dinner date, do the somatic breathing, do the grounding, get into your body. I have some grounding exercises in all of my work. It's about sitting into your body, breathing deep down, taking 3 deep breaths, putting your hand on your chest, feeling your feet on the ground, feeling your body in the chair, really feeling into the body. Bring yourself back, because when we're nervous, when our nervous system is in fight, flight, or freeze for whatever reason, we'll pop into our heads and we'll completely leave our bodies. And then when we leave our bodies like that, we lose access to our intuition. And most of us are really, really quite intuitive, and we want to get back into that, be able to feel into that. And the body is so intelligent in that way. And when we're connected this way into our mind and our body, then we can really, really show up in a way where we can trust how we're going to decipher what's going on. If this video resonates with you, please like it and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be showing a lot more videos over time. This is new, I'm still growing it, but I'm excited to be bringing you a lot more resources and material. I've also just developed a new ebook called Finding Your Key Patterns. It's about seeing what kind of attachment styles you have and how that's showing up in looking for romantic love. The link for that is down below. I'd love for you to download that. And please, thank you so much, as always, for your time. I know you're busy. I love that you spent this time with me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.